We already saw how already saw the function to change the position of our rectangle through this class, and we also gave q invocable to be able to call this function inside QML, and we have like set q property feature given by Qt framework in our class with the help of our mock q object, which helps us compile these Qt creator codes. We also learn about the signals. So now we are going to learn about how to connect our C++, which is this class, with our front end, which is our main.qml. So for that, what we need to do is we need to go to our main.cpp, which is our main source file, which connects everything, the QML engine and everything, like I explained in our first or second tutorial. So in here, I'm gonna go include QML context. So what this header does is it helps QML understand the context of our class. Whatever, if we mention a function inside QML, then it will not know the context, right? It's just like if I say you a joke, if you don't know the context, it won't be meaningful. You will not understand. Similarly, QML5 will not understand any C++ class functions if I don't give it a context. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add one more include, which is going to be our class, which is controller edge. So controller edge, and we have a class here, right? So I'm gonna initialize the class just below the this engine instance. We're gonna create our own instance of controller. So control is the name of our instance. So what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna give the context to our QML. So for that, the engine is something that loads our QML application. So engine root context. So I'm saying keep this in root context, save this in root context, and set context properties. Context property. See, what I'm saying is engine root context property in set context. This is a setter to like set this context as a property inside root context of our engine, which is loading our QML, saying that this is a context property, and I'm saying keep this. I'm just giving a nickname. So notice here I'm like giving a string. I'll tell you about this, and then just give the address of our class instance, which is control. Now our QML will be able to access our C++ class, this controller class, without any problem. And why did I write this? What is the meaning of this string here? The control. It doesn't have to be similar to this control name here. You can write anything, but whatever you write here is going to be the nickname of our class, of our instance, that we can use inside QML. So this address is taking it and connecting to this name, so we can use this name, but for our case I used control, but you can keep anything, like anything, because sometimes the class will have a descriptive large name, right? The class will have a descriptive language, like let's say something. Some classes have really long name, like controller for the game .h, and you don't want that long name to be used everywhere in the QML, so I just use it. But our is shorter, so I use control. So you can now access it in QML. For example, if I go to main.qml and then come here and then say control.x, so now this control.x, if I go to control.x, will be able to, now this x position of this rectangle will have the control.x value, and control.x value is return mx, so it is returning the mx value, and we have initialized this mx in our cpp. So our mx is 50, so our return value will be 50, so this will be 50. And similarly we can say control.y. Now this will have the value of 50 as well, because we have returned my in y function, and which my is the value is 50. We have been slashed as a list initializer in constructor. So if this is confusing, I mean, you can check the initializer list in constructor. It's just similar to saying like mx equal to 50 like this, but this is just too much work and it's not a good practice. I don't like this one, but you can do that as well, but this is a good way to do it. So that's how we did it. And then for this to move, I'll just call our move function, which is what in the header. If you go to our move function, which is q invocable, that means that you can able to call this function. So I'll straight call this function as control. See how I'm writing control for every class. This is just a nickname, so this is not actually calling in the main cpp. If I show you, it is not calling this control but calling this one. This is if there was app here, I had to like remove this and write app instead of control like this, but I will just use control for now, but don't get confused. Control and then control dot move left. So I'm using this function. Similarly, you can use this function to move right, because I already did this definition. So if I run this program and move left and right, it is working. See, now I'm not actually giving the x and y position from QML but from my C++ class, and I'm also moving my changing my value of the rectangle inside that class. The event is here, but our movement and control is from our class. So this is how you connect your QML with C++, and that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.